Alright, so sitting next to me here is the Eris from Xigmatek. This is a Mini-ITX case designed for home theater PCs or for maybe small media servers, but it could potentially be used as a Mini-ITX gaming rig. I probably wouldn't recommend it due to the cooling, but let's talk about it. I'll let you decide that. So first of all, let's go over the specs real quick. It's pretty darn small. It's got a fake aluminum front, steel on the rest. It's got fully perforated sides on both sides, and then the top has dust filters and the same type of perforations. Same thing on the bottom, also perforated. It has dust filters in there. They're not magnetic dust filters. They're not slide-in dust filters. They're kind of just stuck on there with glue, which I think over time will probably kind of lose its stickiness, and then you'll have to do something about those dust filters. But they are there in case you need them. Right in the front, you do have a 5¼ inch bay. But here's the thing: inside of that, you can either put a 5¼ inch drive and then hang one drive underneath it, or you can take out the 5¼ and put an SSD inside of that bay and then have a hard drive underneath. So your options are a little bit limited. You basically have the option of 2 SSDs, 2 hard drives, or you can do 1 hard drive and 1 SSD, or you can do 1 hard drive and 1 5¼ but you can't have all of the different options. It's one or the other, you gotta pick. So that's kind of a downside. As far as sizing goes, you can fit a pretty good size graphics card in here. It'll actually take a 300mm length GPU, so that's gonna be, not everything, but a lot of the gaming cards are gonna fit in there. This thing may or may not cool those types of graphics cards. It's a little bit limited. It's only got an 80mm fan on the back, and then it's got space on the top for a 120. And if you don't use anything in the 5¼ you can actually fit a 240 on there. But if you take this off, so here are your dust filters, and if you look at this part, if you were to unscrew these 4 screws right here, pull this out, you can actually get a 240 in there. And then what you would do is you'd mount your 240 to the top of this and lower it in. Building in this thing is not going to be the most pleasant experience. It's a little bit cramped. It's a little bit of a weird layout. The power supply goes in the front, and there's actually a lead, you can see right here, that goes through the case and goes all the way to the front and plugs into the PSU. So that's really weird. So PSU in the front, Mini-ITX motherboard in the back, and then potentially a 120mm here, or you have 180mm of air cooling space, and then you have your PCI Express is going to run this way, 300mm all the way to the back, and then you have 2 upright slots back here for expansion. So it's definitely a weird layout. It might take some getting used to. It's a little bit inefficient. It's just too much going on. It's almost too small even for Mini-ITX. It's just a little weird. Just to prove that you can get it in here, I'm going to do it a little bit backwards and upside down, but basically, if you were to take this out, right there, you could fit a 240 in there. And then what you'd do is you'd mount it, the holes line up perfectly, mount it to the top. It'd have to be a push or a pull configuration. I guess in this case, everything is dust proof, has dust filters on the bottom and the top, but the sides don't, so you probably want a positive airflow so that it would keep the dust out. So it'd be sucking in and then pushing out. So leave nothing here and then have all your fans pulling in, and that would keep your case nice and free of dust. Those are all things to consider. Also included in the bag, you have the worst set of instructions I have ever seen. They are so ridiculous. I mean, for people like most people that watch this channel are going to know how to build a computer already, but if you didn't know and you were just trying to figure out the instructions on what to do, they're horrible. Like, they're completely useless. You do get some rubber feet in here so you can not damage your furniture like I'm doing right now to this poor table. And then you do have your 3½ inch bay adapter. So basically these are going to attach underneath here to the 5¼ bay. And then you're gonna be able to hang your hard drive or your SSDs from underneath the cage. And then also included is some random screws and a speaker. And another thing is you can actually take the whole thing apart, and I'll show you. Make it totally naked. But there you go, the whole thing is naked. So at least when you are building it, you will have the ability to get it completely naked and make sure you can get in there and worry about stuff. If you look in there, you can see where your PSU mounts. And then also, I'll even show you, I believe, yep, you can pop that off, and then there you go. You can see where the PSU actually goes in and mounts to the case, and then now you have basically just the skeleton of the case. Yeah, it does have USB 3.0 super speed support. That is there, and then input and output for your headset and your microphone. One thing I noticed is that they're not labeled, so you don't know which is your mic and which is your headphones. Not a big deal. You'll figure it out the first time you use it. Probably remember it forever, but that's pretty much it. The Eris from Xigmatek. If you have any questions on it, feel free to leave a note in the forums or comment on the video, and we'll see you guys next time.